Hello. Hello.
Honk, honk, honk.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Diamond Cast, the music show with Diamond Black. This week, we're actually going to be talking about music.
Yeah.
What?
Can't believe it. So, Diamond Black are going to do something slightly different this week, and we are inviting you to join in at home by putting your ideas in the comments as well, and your inspiration in the comments. So, this week, each member of Diamond Black is going to spend a few minutes talking about what?
It's like a book report or something.
Talking about an album that changed their lives respectively. So did it help you in some way? Did it come at a time when they really needed help? Or did it change their outlook on music? And or even life?
Cool.
Was it related to them becoming part of a scene? What kind of age were they when this song found them? And everyone's going to sort of ask them questions about their song. And so we invite you to put songs that inspired you in a similar way in the comments. The guys read all the comments, so you can get involved in the discussion as well. Cool.
Excellent.
If Ben, since it's your concept, would you like to go first?
I would, yes. So my album that I've chosen is Def Leppard's 1987 album Hysteria, and the song that I specifically want to talk about is Gods of War. So as an album, it came at a time where I had an uncle I still have an uncle who's only 8 years older than me. So he was like a cool older brother. But I didn't have to hang out with him every day. So he was even cooler. And everything that he was into, I was into. I just thought he was so cool. One of the first things he introduced me to was this Def Leppard album. So for me, it was synonymous not only with really cool, interesting rock music, but also with him and all the stuff that he was into as well at the time. I was about 10 years old and I was about 8 actually, and he was 16. So he was like this cool older teenage brother. And when I listened to that album again, it reminds me of all the other stuff that we were doing at that time in terms of like Warhammer miniature gaming. And we had this a sci-fi board game called Car Wars that we would play, and certain movies and books. So it was all tied in together. And because that album has a certain almost cinematic quality to it in terms of it's 60 minutes long, the songs are pretty epic, and it's almost like its own genre, that I then attribute that whole time with that record as well. And even to this day, I feel like, and I've heard other people say this, that album, Hysteria by Def Leppard, is kind of like its own genre. It's very cinematic, and it was a project that they said they wanted to write an album that had 7 or 8 hit singles on it, and rather than just the usual 2 or 3. And I think they actually achieved that. And it's a real kind of huge album with these great production on it. And the song specifically, Gods of War, I like because it's a bit of an epic song. It's the first song on side 2. It's almost 7 minutes long, and it's got this long cinematic intro, and the outro has got these sort of sound effects and vocal testimonials from like Reagan and Thatcher and stuff on it. And as a song, it's got all these interesting key changes and great vocal harmonies. And it was like, there's unexpected notes in it as well. The outro section is, I think, 7 bars, not 8 bars repeating. So it's just a bit of a journey. And I've always listened to that song and found that song to be the epitome of what that album means to me and what that time means to me. What I remember initially about Hysteria is that my uncle lent the tape to me, and I think I was at school, and we were standing at the edge of the swimming pool, but I think we weren't swimming, we were talking about it or something. Anyway, I had the tape in my back pocket of my jeans, and I fell over on the wet tiles, not into the pool. Okay. That would be hilarious, but onto the tiles on the side, and the tape in the back pocket, it smashed. So I smashed his tape, and just the guilt and the kind of misery and the frustration that I'd done that. And when I finally got my own copy, on tape, it was like the holy grail. Oh my god, I had a copy of that tape. So that's a really important album for me, a certain time in my life, one of the first albums I ever bought for myself and listened to, and it's synonymous, as I said, with that particular time of my life, being about 8 or 9 years old, and how influential things can be to you at that age.
How do you think it influenced your songwriting and stuff? Because I can hear a lot of your sort of 80s harmony influences and guitar style on the album. Do you think that's a big musical influence?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think why I like things such as 3-part vocal harmonies and key changes from verses into pre-choruses and simple guitar melodies it's definitely down to that album and the production level of it as well. You can hear everything and it's really big.
I thought the bass sound actually reminded me of the sound that you like when we demoing my bass. I was like, oh, that's why Ben likes that bass sound, because it sounds like a Def Leppard one.
Yeah. So sometimes that's been my kind of internal barometer of do I like it? Does it sound like Hysteria? Yes or no? Then I like it if it does.
I think it's not just the Diamond Black thing. I also noticed that it reflects your songwriting in your other bands, like Night by Night, for example, which is my favorite band. So a lot of your songwriting there is also similar to that kind of genre. Now.
Thanks, man. And something really amazing happened in the Night by Night era was that somehow the bassist of Def Leppard heard the album and liked it, and he gave us this great testimonial to use publicly about him from Def Leppard as an original member saying, this is a great band. So that was... How could that ever happen? You know, you told me 8 years old, one day you're going to make a band and the bassist is going to listen to it. It's like, but that's impossible. So yeah, it was nice to have that approval and validation from someone who got me influenced to start in the first place.
Nice. What I thought was interesting, not to give away Vincent's choice because I know what his song is, but when you sent over your songs we're going to talk about, I bet with myself that they're both going to be over like 6 minutes before I even listen to them, and I was right. So I don't know if that says something about the songs you like.
What was it that gave you that?
I don't know. I knew Ben's song was going to be like an over 6 minute song. I just felt it in my bones, but it's quite cinematic. It goes through journeys, and I can see why that. It's a influence.
What is it about Ben and Vincent that they have a proclivity for songs over 6 minutes?
They're quite they have quite varied sections, and it's like a journey of a song. It's not like unnecessarily long. They flow in different ways. They're quite interesting.
Well, what I think is lengthy about Gods of War is that it's the actual song itself, from when the everything starts to when the music sort of the last chorus ends, it's probably about 4.5 minutes, but it's the intro and the outro that takes it up to that sort of 7-minute mark. And I think that was quite a cool thing that bands were doing more in the 80s onwards, was that let's have an epic song. Let's have a song that takes a bit more of a journey than the usual 3.5-minute single. Maybe that, and often they would put this song at the start of side 2 or towards the end of the record, sometimes the last song. And back then it meant that then you only had 4 songs on side 2, but 5 songs on side 1, because this long song was on side 2, which was always quite an interesting. And I think that was something that I always felt an album should have some sort of explorative song, because I sort of grew up with that concept. And
is it time to pause and reflect, perhaps, like once you've had the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 bangers, then it's kind of like, here's a little bit of time to like get really stuck into a story in a longer song.
Space as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that is a song where there is a lot of the song doesn't have a lead vocal on it. The intro and the outro and the midsection. And I think as all of us are musicians, we appreciate a chance to listen to that sort of thing, as well as to write and perform that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
What
I
age were you when you listened?
very well. Sorry, you carry on.
Oh no, well, that's a good point that you make, actually.
I was going to say, what other songs are on the album that
like all the Def Leppard bangers that
it's all the hits are on this album.
This is their biggest album, so it's got Pour Some Sugar on Me and Animal.
Okay, they're bangers.
It's the Decadist album, Hysteria, obviously.
Yeah, it's their sort of definitive record that when there was a really big record for them, and sort of what a lot of people know them for is that particular production and those sort of hooks and songwriting. So yeah, and to answer your question, now, I was about 8 when I first heard it, and I have vivid memory of standing on a chair with my uncle's school tie around my head like I was Mark Knopfler, playing air guitar to Hysteria, to Animal from the Def Leppard album. But I didn't have but I say air guitar, for some reason, my uncle had this hand axe. It was just sort of like kind of ridiculous thing that he had. He had like a hand axe and a catapult and all sorts
like
of
an actual, not a guitar, like an actual axe.
an actual axe. An actual. He lived on a farm, so there was always some sort of weird shit hanging around like that. And I remember he had this. Yeah, combine harvester. So it's Bristol, I didn't mind. So I remember standing and using his hand axe as like an air guitar with the school tie.
Nice.
And
I love how you pick up like dangerous farming equipment and it's like, oh, that could be a guitar. Anything could be a guitar.
Dangerous farming equipment. Yeah, that's right.
Is that not dangerous farming equipment?
Okay, absolutely. Yeah,
it's a hatchet.
Yeah, it's a hatchet. Yeah, more like a hatchet. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So obviously, like I didn't listen to Hysteria when I was 8, but I did kind of listen to quite a lot when I was coming of age, and I kind of feel like it's a really good album for that, like excitement about the future, that like all the key changes and the sort of really long sweeping guitar tones kind of remind me of this, like, there's going to be a really good future, and it's like this kind of, maybe it's my vision of what I think it was like in the 80s, because I don't remember it because I was 3 when it ended, but I don't know. I definitely think that it's got this kind of excitement, this kind of feeling. They put key changes in all over the song, not just at the end.
Yeah.
So that sort of subverts what you think is going to happen anyway. Well, unless you know Def Leppard, then it's like key changes.
Well, also, and also the key changes are often very conducive to the song. So rather than it being like a prog key change, it's a key change that elevates the verse into a pre-chorus and elevates it again into a chorus. And I think an average music listener would not notice that there were key changes. They just think it's good. They just enjoy it in the same way that a lot of 80s pop music is full of key changes because it's an effective device to use to make people feel something, not to be interesting or to show, oh, look what we can do. So yeah, I think it was definitely employing those notions of pop music, whereas a lot of 80s hard rock is very straight ahead, one key. It doesn't really make any kind of exciting change. It's just about being heavy and cool. So yeah, I think it's a good observation, and those cinematic qualities come with the key changes as well, because the key changes will always elicit emotions in a way that in a cinematic sort of way.
I think what I remember most about Def Leppard is, this, because like you said, there's a lot of other bands like them. But for me, once the singer starts singing, you can tell, oh, that's Def Leppard.
Yeah.
And there's some piano.
Yeah, he's got that voice, doesn't he?
Yeah.
My only bit of facts that I really know about Def Leppard is the drummer's only got one arm, right?
Yeah.
Vincent, what do you rate of his drumming?
Because I've never heard his playing when he still had 2 arms, but I thought he was absolutely brilliant. The fact that he's got 1 arm and he was using his, because I read about this, he was using those electronic pads at that time, and at that time he was, I think, almost like he started that trend of using electronic pads and using his left foot to play the snare. Cool. He was really, really creative, and I remember seeing a photo of his drum kit. It was basically custom built for him, because sometimes he's got snare here and he's got snare on his foot. He's got 10 drum pedals, and each pedal is making different kinds of noise, whether it's a kick, tom, snare, cymbals as well. So it was very unique at that time, his drum kit, and it was, like I said, it was custom built for him. And for him to play that kind of kit and really be creative and still play kind of really fast drum fills, that's brilliant. It's amazing drummer.
Nice.
So what happened? He had 2 arms and then he lost 1 arm at some point when Def Leppard.
Yeah, I don't know if you know the story, Ben. If you want to tell.
Yeah, so they did 3 albums with him with 2 arms, and some of the famous songs like "Photograph" by Def Leppard, that's from an era where he had 2 arms. And then he had a car accident on New Year's Eve, 1984, and he lost his arm, and that's why there's such a big gap between their 1983 album Pyromania, which has got a photograph on it, and Hysteria, which was 1987. There was 4 years between where he was recuperating, and the band stood by him, and they they didn't want to get another drummer because he was their drummer.
Don't you think that's amazing, though?
Yeah,
that, like, that he stayed in the band and he just learned how to do the drumming.
Yeah.
And innovated. Yeah.
And yeah.
For me, that was the most impressive thing about that band. Because when you look at them, you think, okay, yeah, they're rock stars and stuff, but you wouldn't think that they were actually so closely with each other, like basically like brothers. And I think I remember reading one of the interviews about, I think, what's the singer's name?
Joe Elliott.
Joe Elliott, yeah. I think it was actually him who said that something about, would you kick your brother out of your family just because he lost his arm? I don't like that. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was something in that kind of context. But I was surprised. Okay, they were massive band. Something happened to the drummer, and then like you said, they stood by him, and then they didn't kick him out.
It's quite phenomenal, isn't it? Because when they released Pyromania in 1983, which was when he had two arms still, they went to like number 1 in America, or at least number 2 in America. They were just this huge, and it was like, this is success. Finally, we've done it. And then that happens to their drummer, and for them to be able to go, we're not going to just keep riding this wave that we should be riding because this is our time. We're actually going to step back and look after one of our members so that we can then come back again. And maybe that's what led to them making such an incredible album, because the next one was even bigger and better and sort of defined, I think, a lot of the 80s sound. In terms of
totally did.
Yeah, in terms of like
the 80s bands have this sort of more selfish, kind of egotistical. They're seen as like they're much more decadent and egotistical and out for themselves. So it's nice to hear that these guys are more of a brotherhood and they stuck together.
Yeah, that's actually what I meant earlier about, because when you look at them, oh man, they must be, they wouldn't care about other people, but it's the complete opposite. They were like brothers. I don't know if you guys saw the film The Rocker, where they were about to get signed, but there's a catch. The label's head, his son wanted to be the drummer, so they're gonna sign them if they kick their drummer out. And then it took them less than 5 minutes to decide, let's kick the drummer out and get signed with this new drummer who is the son of the label boss.
Oh, is that Vesuvius?
Yeah, Vesuvius.
Vesuvius, yes, yeah. That's a good film. It's got Dwight from The Office is the drummer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
cool.
Dwight Schrute from the American
He's the one
Office.
They want to throw out.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Does he like come back and with revenge or something?
I think he makes his own band.
I definitely saw this like a long time ago.
It's a great film.
Yeah, it's really funny. I do like that things that he's in. He's usually quite funny.
Maybe we should talk about music films at a later cast. That'd be good.
Well, do your favourite music. Well, I'm sure we've done music films. We'll do another
we were
one
going to. We never got around to it, I think.
Oh, really?
Cool. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Shall we tell you my one then?
Go on, Adam.
Okay, so my most influential album, it's not necessarily my favourite album, but looking back, it's one that's influenced me the most, is Showbiz by Muse. And that's their debut album. Specifically the song Sunburn, which is like the first song on the album. And I was looking back on it and I realised it sort of influenced my entire life. Right, so it came out when I was 16 or 17, just going to music college. And looking back on it, so I love the fact that it starts with a piano song, because piano is my main guy. And then the whole structure of the song is sort of introduces the instruments one by one in a really brooding way. And the bass comes in, it's really banging. And every part of it, every instrument in Muse has influenced my way of playing and songwriting. So the bass, I've sort of really based my bass distortion sounds on Muse bass sounds. The piano in this song, especially at the end, he does this over the hand arpeggio thing, which is very Rachmaninoff based. And so I started learning a lot of Rachmaninoff at the time, which really made me a lot better at piano. In the solo in Sunburn, it's like this really hardcore whammy guitar solo. And I was like, what the fuck is that sound? And so I had to go and figure out what pedal he was using and buy myself a whammy pedal, which really changed my way of playing guitar. vocally, Muse, whenever I do any singing, I've got 5 Muse songs, which is my vocal warm up. What else do we do? Oh yeah,
is that going to be Patreon content?
Yeah, I could do that as Patreon content. Yeah. What's also funny is though this came out when I was going to music college, and I went to like a classical music college, but I was studying music and music technology, and music technology was like music production. But because it was a classical music college, they never taught this before, so no one really knew what they were doing. But I'd been teaching myself MIDI and programming beforehand. And so when my first year there, I basically had to sort of teach the other students instead of the teachers because they didn't know what we were doing. And so we used Sunburn as the end of year piece that we had to program and record. And so that was already, that's really my cool. first piece of, music production.
Did you have the recording?
Well. Yeah, I've got the recording somewhere, yeah. So I got all the different, everyone in the class played a different instrument in it.
What did you play?
I think I played guitar on it.
Just guitar?
Yeah, because it was a class thing, but I was doing
Did somebody else sing?
Teaching yeah.
Oh, cool.
What else have I got that? So, not only, so Muse just sort of followed me through my whole life. What's weird is in the Showbiz album, they used to have a little card in it, like if you're a fan of this band, send this card in to join the fan group. So I sort of filled in the card and sent it off to whatever the record label was. And then I got a phone call like 6 months later being like, hey, do you want to come and go paintballing with Muse what's the name of the music magazine? Oh, I can't remember. But like music, Enemy, that's it, yeah. Enemy video shoot. So yeah, we got away and we go.
So it was for a video shoot?
Oh no, feature. And then after that, I got to go to in the Muse videos because of going to that as well. So just filling in that little card from the album even got me into 2 music videos and paintballing with them.
So you're into Muse music videos?
Yeah. I'm in Hyper Music and Feeling Good.
Incredible.
Which on the album afterwards.
Are you like clearly in it?
I can see me. I'm wearing a leopard jacket, so it's quite easy to spot.
Is that why you're wearing one today?
I was. I changed it to a bit more glittery stuff.
But yeah, it's still honouring that vibe. Oh, by the way, I was wearing my Def Leppard t-shirt, which is why I've got sleeves. But yeah, that's so cool. And that's that song. What a debut song for a debut album, just to start with that tune.
I can remember the first time I see it. I can remember the first time I watched the video.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's so experimental.
And then this comes out with all this tumbling piano and it feels like it's constantly rolling in waves, and it's a really it's got this really shrill guitar with the vocal at the same time, and it's singing about guilt, and it's got it feels like that is like held in the back.
The bass line on the chorus is crazy as well. It's like a riff, but it doesn't follow the root notes or anything. It's like a proper riff. It's such a brilliantly put together song. It's only like 3 chords. It's vaguely simple, but like how it's all put together is so beautiful.
It's really good, and I didn't notice before because I've heard this song a number of times before, but I haven't listened to it for many years. So going back to it with fresh ears, how important the bass is on it, how interesting and important that bass line is, and what a great bass sound as well. And I can see why you get that influence now, because it's heavy and rounded, and it's got the drive on it. It's really powerful. It's driving the song, and
there's not really much guitar on it apart from the solo. The solo is like quite rhythmic. It's like, the verses are mainly piano, and it's just a bit of distortion on the chorus, but like the solo is crazy.
And it's like all that tremolo picking and stuff, and it's really spooky. And what I love is that the song's finished pretty much. Oh, let's just do an amazing piano thing at the end.
I know. Yeah, that's a bit.
Something's missing. Let's do this, and it's incredible. And
that's the Rachmaninoff bit, yeah.
Right.
So he does. Matt Bellamy does a lot of Rachmaninoff inspired kind of arpeggios that's like one hand over the other, which is really cool. And that's
what it is, because it sounds like it goes almost like from minor to major, but it's more complicated.
It does go from E minor to E major, I think.
It's so cool and it's so spooky. And
I think that's what really impresses me about Muse, because the sound that they create, not only is heavy, but so many instruments playing, but they're only a 3-piece band.
Yeah, well, that's also I like 3 pieces.
Just two people making, the guitar, the singer, and the bass player. But when you listen to it, especially live, it's like, where are those sounds coming from? It's actually they're playing it.
Yeah, I guess that's another inspiration for Muse for me. That's why I really like Three Pieces.
Yeah, exactly the same with me, man.
But it doesn't sound like there's too much going on in the production of the song. I think it's been very cleverly produced. It still sounds quite raw. It still sounds like, to me, that his vocal sounds like he just did it in one take. It feels like it just flows through the song. Yeah. Particularly as I can hear, there's no BVs either. So just the power of his voice takes it through, and the different textures he has in it. It feels almost like they're playing it live in a room. But it's so sophisticated and so layered in terms of
the production is so brilliant as well, because like his falsetto bits are obviously quite not as bolty, not as per se. There's a lot of distortion on them to bring them up to the same level. So it's really nice drive on the production as well. So it's really good across the board, really.
Yeah, and you can see why, as a debut song on the debut album, they got the attention that they deserved for something that's just so groundbreaking and bold.
I remember a lot of people said they were like a Radiohead ripoff when they came out, and I can see the Radiohead comparison from like the vocals and like maybe the tremolo whammy stuff, but they're a completely different beast. They're much more rocking.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I think Muse is a lot heavier than Radio.
Yeah. And then where Muse developed to beyond that first album was definitely not Radiohead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know if they were at all influenced by Radiohead?
I mean, I find it very hard to think they weren't.
Yeah,
because it's just such a, Tom York's got such a unique style of singing, and then Matt Bellamy's very sort of similar style. I can't imagine they weren't influenced by them, but I don't think they ripped them off.
Yeah, really good. And so that album and that song, that reminds you of that time in your life and the whole creating the entire song in MIDI and teaching the other.
And I think Muse has just followed me all throughout my life as well. And like, my favourite film ever is this film called Southland Tales. And I was watching it the other day and I just realised it's like a whole section where there's just a Muse song all the way through. And it's like this really instrumental section. I was like, I can't escape them. They follow me everywhere.
I'm actually thinking the same thing. Speaking of that, one of my favorite films is World War Z. And there was this piano thing for the whole film, and it's really I found it really, really amazing playing. So I had to Google it. What's that sound? And it's actually Muse, right? Crazy.
So when they play live, does he move between the guitars and the keyboards?
I mean, I don't know how they do it now. I've seen them like a good 30 times. Like back in the era we're talking about, he would have gone from piano to keyboard. Piano to guitar and between songs. But now I think they've got a person that does piano and an extra guitar. They've got a bit more of an expanded live setup.
I wonder what it was like to be them and have to do shit gigs, as every band has to do at the start.
One of the songs on Showbiz is I've played in every toilet.
Right.
They definitely did the rounds, as in every toilet venue,
What it was like... What was it like to try and bring that kind of level of musical sophistication and high level performance to the pub down the road? Because they would have had to do that. I think they got a lot of pushback, to be honest. I think there's a lot of people didn't get it for a long time, and then the people that did get it really got it. But there's a lot of like, what the fuck's this? especially because his vocal style was very unusual at the time. Yeah. So it's like, what's this Nancy boys doing? There's a lot of that kind of. This isn't proper rock. But no.
Well, it's not. It's almost its own genre, isn't it?
Yeah, it is its own genre.
I just brought up the Muse wiki. So I've got a fun fact about what you just said.
Okay, cool.
Which is that no. It's about he didn't say this, but basically it says on here. I don't know if this is real either. This is Muse wiki, so I'm assuming it's the truth, but I don't know. And it says Matt wanted to play the song live with the piano when the album first came out, but he hadn't learned how to do it properly in 2000, according to a speech he gave after doing TFI Friday in 2000. And then he finally managed to learn it in early 2001, where it was rotated between guitar and piano versions until 2003, when the piano version has been the only version played since, with the only exception being at a show in Sydney in 2004, when the guitar version was performed instead.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's cool.
You can definitely see his piano playing progress over the albums as well.
And another fun fact is, as of July 2007, the piano and drums from the intro of Sunburn were used in the BBC TV's coverage of the golf championships.
It's got a great drum beat as well. I remember listening to the drum beat on Sunburn. I thought that's a really fucking interesting rhythm. Like, what's going on there?
So yeah, you've got three very talented and interesting musicians working together to create something that really but again, it's not like it's 8 minutes long, it's 3 minutes 50, which I think really adds to the impact of it, that it's so much cool stuff happening, so much emotional stuff happening, because it's not just progressive for the sake of being progressive, it's emotional. Yes. What they're doing creates a sense of like sorrow and dread, and it's a very, very kind of unsettling song, isn't it?
A lot of my favourite bands at the time are very sort of like angsty. Yeah. And it's very kind of... It's all about the raw emotion. I'm not so much about like, apart from Muse, like, which is quite diddly. I'm always about like the emotion of the song rather than just the playing. But Muse is the synergy of really good playing and really hardcore emotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they've been successful, because there's something for everyone, isn't there? It's really intriguing for like muso heads, and it's also just really and it's really engaging for people who like just emotional music, and it's aggressive in a way that isn't obviously aggressive as well.
And also I like the stuff they sing about, because some of the lyrics can be interpreted in different ways depending on what your life's like or what you're going through at the time, but also they sing about quite like philosophical things. I quite like this.
Yeah, he's got a lot of things about conspiracy theories and stuff, which is I'm all on board with that kind of stuff. So
and that's kind of very similar to what what Gods of War is about as well, isn't it? Because that's more like philosophical about kind of the human condition for Def Leppard, rather than what typical 80s songs were about. So there's a sort of undercurrent there.
Yeah, definitely. It's a more introspective song lyrically, and across the albums they tended to always have a couple of songs that were a bit more introspective lyrically in the albums, as well as there being the youthful songs about being in a band and drinking and stuff. Yeah, definitely that's a song that has, and I think I used even as a kid I thought, well, what the lyrics are really interesting. They about not wanting to fight and feeling shackled to a regime, and even as like I remember like playing with Lego, listening to it and going, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, I think that also was an important impact as well, that it was about something, and it was about something important, even though I couldn't quite grasp what that was.
Yeah, and I think most of especially the modern Muse songs are all about kind of questioning things in a similar way. Would you not? Would you agree, Adam?
Yeah. I've got one more little anecdote about Showbiz, which I think I told before when we were talking about festivals. But like the song Unintended on that album is why I really, really started picking up bass. Because I think I was at Reading, I think we mentioned this before, Reading 2000 or Reading 2001, and went to see them in the tent. And I remember when Unintended, if you don't know, it's an acoustic song. And then at the chorus, this fat bass comes in. And I remember listening to that in the tent at Reading, and the bass just went all the way through me. And I was like, this is the coolest sound ever. So it's really got me super into playing bass. So like, the whole album has really influenced, my direction of being a musician across the board.
So many memories attached to it, so many different places and times. That's really cool. And I guess that's what a great album does, that you make those connections where it goes beyond just listening to it on the way to school a couple of times. It becomes all encompassing of not just that time in your life, but it carries on throughout your life as well.
It's a good album,
man. How many of you watching this listen to stuff on the way to school and that became part of your life for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Oh, if you guys haven't heard any of these songs or albums, I'll put a link in the description so you can check them out, by the way.
Yeah, definitely listen to these and think about each person's reason for why they've picked those songs as well, because it's actually quite fascinating. It's quite a good task. I really enjoyed this task, listening to these songs that you've chosen with you guys in mind, thinking, this is something that means something to you. So you sort of look at it in a different light. So it's quite a nice thing. It's a good task to do at home with your friends and kind of learn a little bit more about them.
Yeah, that's a really nice point, that you can, a song that's really important to a friend of yours, you can listen to it mindfully, then you can, and then ask them about it. What a cool way to get to know someone a bit better.
I've got another sad Muse thing that I just realised I'd forgotten about.
Bring it on.
In the Bliss video, he's wearing red hair, and that's why I dyed my hair red in the first place.
Wow, so even today.
So there you go. It never ends.
Yeah, even today.
Cool.
Okay, Vincent.
Well, there you go. How long have you had red hair for, Adam?
Oh yeah. Well, I also because of Marilyn Manson, but I remember that. That's why I first dyed it red, because of Matt Bellamy in that video.
There you go. Right, Vincent, what have you got for us?
Right. We have times. For me, the most influential album is Images and Words by Dream Theater. So if you guys, watching, if you don't know them, Google them. It's an amazing, amazing band. And the reason is, at that time, before I discovered progressive music, because that's the genre, that's what's it called. Well, actually, before Dream Theater, I actually discovered progressive music through Rush. And it's a funny story because I was practicing in at home, and then my uncle came over, and then he lent me this Rush live CD. Unfortunately, I can't remember what's it called, but it was one of those earlier Rush live CD. And then I had to listen to it. Absolutely amazing, blew me away. So what is this? It's completely different from what I'm used to listening, which was bands like Metallica, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses. But anyway, going back to Dream Theater, so it's kind of like similar progressive music, but what's amazing about that album is they basically had influence of Rush and some of those other 70s progressive music, and also metal, because Dream Theater is actually heavily influenced by Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, some of those really big heavy metal bands. And so they basically wrote an album and created a genre that's no one ever heard of. No one else was doing it at that time. So they combined progressive elements and metal elements, and they released that album. It was absolutely amazing. It blew everyone's mind up. And the first album they released is called When Dream and Day Unite, which kind of like didn't get enough traction. But when they released Images and Words, they got their first MTV video. It was amazing for something like a progressive song, which is more than 7 minutes long, to be played on MTV, which is very, very rare at that time. And I remember they were saying on the interview they were hearing their songs on the radio 24/7. And for me, it was very influential because, like I said, at that time I was only listening to Metallica, Guns N' Roses and stuff. So my playing was influenced by those kinds of bands, really heavy, powerful, two-pa. And then when I heard Dream Theater and Rush and the whole progressive genre, I didn't realize that, wait, you can actually play drums in different, it's not just two-pa. There's so many different things. And at that time, I didn't even know what time signature was, but basically that was what's happening with progressive music, different kinds of time signatures, not just in 4/4, but playing in 7/8, 13/16 and stuff like that. At that time, as a teenager, I didn't know it was possible to play drums like that, especially with if you guys listen to that, I'm going to put a description and the actual title of the Rush CD. But when I listened to that, the drum solo in that live CD, first I thought, man, this can't be played by one person. It's impossible. It's not just one person playing this, because you can hear a tambourine playing in 3/8 or 3/4. And then the kick drum is playing the pulse, the 4/4. And then his hands is playing different thing. I said, there's absolutely no way one person.
So how's he playing the tambourine? So how's he playing the tambourine?
So he's playing that. He's playing it on his left foot. So
okay.
And then he's playing just different random stuff with some kind of like xylophone, and then the drums as well. And then I was thinking, there's no way. And then I actually found, yes, it is. It's actually possible. So that's why the progressive genre in general changed my the way I see and play and hear music, and especially drumming. And the album Dream Theater, the Image Lord, sorry, is progressive music, but on the heavier side. So it's a combination of some of the bands that I like, Metallica, Dream Theater, but a lot more technical, a lot more progressive, super long songs. And if you get a chance to listen to the album, have a listen to Take the Time. That is my favorite song in the album. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's not just a long song, it's just different kind of sections, different structures, like telling a story. It's an intro and then the verse. And also what separates Dream Theater, that album, from a lot of the other progressive bands is the singing. James LaBrie, he's got this really, really high-pitched operatic voice. It's like, so in comparison, it's kind of like imagine Sebastian Bach when they released the album Skid Row. So imagine that kind of voice, really, really high, but make it heavier, make it progressive, make it longer. And, it really influenced me because there was no one else doing that kind of music at that time. And it just, like I said, it just blew me away.
I thought it sounded like Sebastian Bach when I was listening to it earlier.
Yeah. They were actually friends. There's some clips of them just kind of like joking around, and Sebastian Bach making fun of his singing and stuff. But yeah, it's very interesting.
It's interesting that you say, like what you're saying about it being like a brand new thing and blew in people's minds for the time as well, where you were listening to all the 80s bands and the heavy rock bands and stuff. Because when I was listening to it, I was thinking, hang on a minute, it sounds like it belongs in the 80s, but it sounds a bit more futuristic than that. And there's like something there. And then it kind of gave me the impression that the darkness of the music was a bit darker for the 80s. So maybe it's like mid to late 90s. And I looked it up and it's 1992. But that makes me think it's really ahead of its time for 1992, because I would have thought that, that's, I guess, when the time music was changing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's
interesting. We picked a different decade each.
I think what happened at that time is, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a rise in progressive music like Rush and Genesis and stuff. But they all died in the 70s or 80s, sorry. They died in the 80s because I think New Wave came. I think only really, really few bands, progressive bands like Rush, survived that because I don't know if you probably know, Ben, but I think Rush changed their music to adapt to the 80s sound. It's still progressive, but they incorporate a lot of those 80s keyboard sound.
Yeah, and they wrote more kind of 4-minute songs rather than the big expansive like opuses. Yeah, in the 80s, yeah.
And then what happened after that is punk era came and completely destroyed that's they call it the death of progressive music. When punk came, that was it. And then after punk, then there came the Dream Theater when they released that album. Then suddenly it's all popular again.
Yeah, it's I did take the time to listen to it, to all 8 minutes and 20 of it. I've been waiting to say that all cast. It's fantastic. It's like, do you remember Mike Oldfield stuff? It's like a metal Mike Oldfield, because you've got essentially this huge expansive piece of music that takes you to different places, different time signatures, stuff like it starts and then you go into shuffle and then there's this piano drop halfway through. It's just like different pieces of a story. And I love that within the first minute, you've got amazing illustrations of everybody's ability. Just that you get how good everybody is. And then you've got this verse where it's almost like Faith No More, the way that James is singing.
I thought it sounded like Faith No More singing, yeah.
With like that kind of almost rapping style and then going to the operatic. So it was just so cool. It's like Faith No More and then a bit of sort of hair metal vibes. And I guess at that time, 92 was just on the tail end of when that kind of production style was still just about in vogue before everything went grunge. So it's an interesting illustration of the time. And I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about it. One other thing. I love the way that the chorus doesn't really come to the end. And it's a really catchy chorus. It's got the actual lyric of the actual song title in it. It
builds up to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really builds up to it. And it felt a bit like Extreme, that bit. It's in the band Extreme, I felt that was like. Do you think, or do you know, if the drummer recorded the whole thing in one take, would he have done it all the way through, do you think? Or would they have stitched the sections together?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Because at that time, I don't know what kind of technology they had for recording. I think they can already. I mean, I don't know. It's such a long song.
Yeah.
And all I can remember from the documentary is that they worked on that for almost a year, and they almost gave up because they couldn't find a proper singer who can sing the songs. But what held them together was the songs in the album. So. To answer your question, I don't know, because it's such a really difficult track. And also Mike Portnoy is such an amazing drummer. He's a pioneer. He, at that time he created all of this different kinds of beats and drum fills that no one no one thought of, or no one just played before. He was definitely a competent drummer. Whether he played the whole thing in one take or not, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's maybe we can ask him. I can ask him.
Yeah, let's ask him. Yeah, get him on the show next week.
I'll ask him.
Yeah, please do. But yeah, you've got when it opens up, you've got that really kind of almost metalcore where you've got the snare and the guitar chugs like locking in with each other, and I feel like it's never the same thing twice. It's like it's like how do you remember all this? But it's like so heavy, and then 3.5 minutes through, it drops down to this like angelic piano part within the same song. It's quite an incredible piece, and the only thing for me that I didn't quite get on board with, and I've never really been able to get on board with, is
I know what you're
the
going to say.
Or is it going to be the same as us?
Is it?
Is the synth solo.
Oh, it's not the same as us.
No, okay.
It's because to me, keyboard solos like that, they just sound like a bonus round on Sonic the Hedgehog. It just don't sound very cool, but it's obviously so competent and so brilliant, and it's incredible. It's just that with like the pitch bend and stuff, it just feels a bit like bonus round. But apart from that, I loved it.
Well, our one criticism was like we didn't like the fade out at the end. It's like you put like 1,000 ideas into this song. Can't you just think of one more and end it properly?
It's like it's such a good story. It's like it builds up this story. It takes you on this journey. Everything is like there's different parts of the song, and they all work together really well. And then it's like, and he's coming over to you're on the 7th minute, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to have a really like banger ending. And then it just fades, and I was like, huh? Where's it going?
Yeah, it's like they're like,
how did the sound end like that? It just fade out. So, I think it was very popular at that time. Just how do musicians? How do we end this?
So no.
Turn it down.
Guys, we've hit 8 minutes. Just bring down a fader.
What's really funny is all the drummers I've ever known have really, really loved Dream Theater. So I thought it's quite funny that you picked Dream Theater as the one. So were you? I take it you were already playing drums, and then you discovered the song, and it elevates your playing to another level.
Yeah, exactly. I like I said, I was used to just playing, 4/4 2 really, just drums are holding down the group, holding down the whole band.
Yeah.
Then when I heard Rush and Dream Theater, I didn't realize, okay, it's actually possible to play this kind of field or this kind of beat, and it changed my whole outlook on drum play.
Sick.
Yeah, and again, Rush, a 3-piece. Geddy Lee the singer doing actual keyboards with his feet while he plays the bass and sings.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, Adam, if Matt Bellamy plays the keyboard with his
feet. I don't know. Maybe.
Does he do that?
I don't know. I've seen the bass player before have like organ. Like they have the organ pedals that are trigger bass things, and he's playing an acoustic guitar, so maybe they do multi-instrument things at once.
I can't believe anyone can play a piano or keyboard with their feet. Like my toes all move at the same. Like
I don't
they
think it's
don't
like
move
individual toe. It's
each
more
other.
like pedals and stuff.
Oh,
the big pedal. I think it's only maybe 8 notes or something.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like this.
No, I think it's more pedals. Yeah,
that requires a lot of talent.
it's like a one-man band with the thing on his back and stuff.
But it's also not like the big piano on the floor in Big. When they do that, so I don't think it's like that bit either. Great tune, Vincent. Good find. Good. Thanks for sharing that.
There's something else I wanted to mention about it, which was I really like the lyrics, because they're very similar to kind of like what you guys sing about in Diamond Black, which is basically like you're the only person that's going to get yourself out of a situation by like finding the answer in your mind.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some lyrics in there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I picked up on that as well. Yeah, good. That was a good spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like stop and take the time to sort your mind out. So because it's the only it's the only way that you'll sort out a problem that you're going through, or sort your life out, basically.
Which again, for a band at that time, was I think quite a progressive way of a thing to be singing about, rather than like just sci-fi themes or whatever. I think there are other progressive bands that I've heard, like what's the Odyssey, Symphony X. You've probably heard that, and that's a great, but it's the Odyssey, and that's what it's about. Which is not exactly sci-fi theme, but it's more of a storytelling thing, rather than it being something that you can apply to. Yeah, conceptual rather than something you can apply to your own life at the time. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Cool.
Good.
well, these are some good little deep dives.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know in the comments what your inspirational, not necessarily your favorite, but songs that inspired you, and state the album as well. So if people haven't listened to it before, maybe
Diamond Black,
your comment
hopefully.
will inspire them to. Well, when the album's out.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, state like, you know, why you think it's you, why it's inspiring and stuff, and hopefully it'll inspire other people to discover new albums too.
All right, wicked.
Cool. Couple of announcements. One, Fall Into Silence has entered the German charts at number 11.
Woo!
Huh?
Woo! Wait.
Yes.
Soundboard. Yay.
As you would say, Vincent. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
That's one of your catchphrases. That's hot news. That is hot news.
That's
Hot
awesome.
news.
So
It won't be
thank
hot
you.
news by the time this goes out. It'll be already
Be hotter.
news. The news.
Yeah.
Be red.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Thank you for everyone that bought the new T-shirt we dropped last week.
Oh, mate. Yeah,
awesome.
it's absolute killer. It's one of my favorite designs so
People
far.
bought it already.
Yeah. It's been,
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a really cool design, isn't it? Should we
Thank
talk
you.
about design really quickly? Because it's got these like waves on it. And do you want to
Yeah.
tell us
I
what
was
that's
sort of
about?
a bit inspired by Joy Division. You know, the sort of sound wave on Joy Division one, and
Yeah.
how it's like the sigil itself is sort of falling into the silence, but it's like drowning in the sea of sound waves, and that was my kind of inspiration behind that one. And
It's really cool.
I thought having "Are You Out There" would be really cool on everyone's backs, because it's like, oh, you can see each other in the crowd when they're wearing it, and you can be like, I'm out there, and you can talk to each other.
That's so cool.
Is
I love.
there anyone
yeah.
anywhere?
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what I mean. Sorry. But you know what I mean. But like, you can meet up, you can chat to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is there anyone anywhere? It's like,
Yeah,
there's
sorry,
someone
that's what
there
I
and
meant.
someone there. If you're standing at the back and you see some people, you can be like, hang on, you guys.
Yeah,
should meet.
exactly. Yeah. There is someone out there. It's me.
I'm loving this continuous theme of having a message on the back from the lyrics. It's so powerful. It's a really good idea. Really good idea. So just one last thing I wanted to share from my side is that a little mindful tip that I learned this week, which was to, when you're in a moment, and it can be whether or not you're having a challenge or you're just bored or you're just walking somewhere, is to think, what is going right now? What is going good right now? And that could be anything from the fact, like maybe it's not raining, to I can walk, and just having a moment to go, okay, rather than like cogitating about these problems or challenges or just being bored, think what's good right now, and just taking a moment to appreciate that. And I found that was really helpful for me earlier on the week when I was struggling with something, is to go, actually loads of really good stuff is happening, and just it sort of lifted me up a bit.
I think being grateful for things is like the antidote to being sad for things, really. Be grateful
Absolutely,
for
100%, 110%. I can tell you, I do this every night before I go to bed. I think of what went really well today and what am I really looking forward to. And
Nice.
I have been very happy for a while because of it. Quite a while.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And
That's
it's really good. It's really, really good. It's all you have to do. You don't have to consciously even think about it. You just kind of, after a while, after like a couple of days, you kind of go, oh, well, a couple of weeks maybe. You kind of go, oh, okay. What am I, like, as you drift off to sleep, what am I really happy about that happened today? And it could be, like Ben said, something really simple, like it didn't rain, or it did rain and it was really hot for 6 weeks and now it finally
Yeah,
rained.
That's the London, yeah.
So yeah, it could be anything that today
Gratitude
that
is
was
the
good for
secret.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Or
that's
you
really
smiled
important.
at someone on the way to work and they smiled back, or something. You know.
Yeah, and because I think what we're often conditioned to do, just by the way that we're brought up, or the things that we see, is that we're always looking forward to something else. Like, when this happens, I'll be happy. If only I could get that, then everything will be okay. When I reach this point in time, then things will be good. But then you reach that point and you're still thinking about the next thing that's going to make you happy. So it's trying to go, what actually have I got now that maybe I wanted for a long time, or I'm really grateful for? I think it's a really powerful way to enjoy the moment, which is really the only thing that exists is right now.
Absolutely lovely.
Excellent. There you go. Have one of these. Okay, guys.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Wicked.
Good stuff.
What a nice positive episode.
Wasn't it just?
Lovely thing to talk about. That's great.
Sure.
That was great.
Maybe we should do some more album talk in another episode in the future.
Well, you guys wrote some really good ideas down for like different cast ideas. So
okay, let us know if you like this.
Great idea, Ben. This was really, really good.
Thank you.
Let us know if you like this content, and we'll do more of it.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
See you later, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.